So today I am doing something quite different, quite unusual, and something a little bit out of the box for me. Today I am doing a video response, a VR to Katie Flowers, where she created a VR hashtag only 10 decks. So basically what this means is that I had to go through my entire deck collection and find only 10 decks that if I could only keep 10, which 10 would I keep? This is combining tarot and oracle together, so it's not 10 tarot and 10 oracle, it's in the whole collection. Which 10 decks would I keep? It was not easy, I can tell you. I love every single one of my decks. They all hold a very special place in my heart. And I use my decks all the time in my videos, in my own private practice, in client readings, for various different things. And every single deck, has a function, has a purpose, and has a reason for being in my collection. And I do absolutely love every single one of them. So to only grab 10, I think it probably took me longer to select 10 than it's going to take me to record this entire video. But anyway, I'm actually quite excited to share this with you and to show you my special 10. Right, so I have adjusted the camera view so that I can show you the decks that I have chosen as my top, well, not my top 10, my only 10. So this is not my favorites, but these are if I could only have 10, which 10 would I keep? And the first one that I have to show, and this is really not in any kind of order, not my favorite to my least favorite in any means. It's just the first ones that I grab right here in front of me. So this particular deck is truly special to me, and this is the only deck that I have that I keep in a wooden keepsake box. This box is probably as old as the tarot deck inside. This tarot deck was I won't say it was my only deck. I had one before this which I didn't connect with, but when I really fell in love with tarot, this was the deck that did it for me, and this is the deck that I only worked with for a period of 10 years, if not even a bit longer than that. I used this deck every day for every single reading, my own personal readings, client readings. I taught off this deck. Everything I ever did with regards to tarot has been with this deck. This deck has been placed in this box now for probably the last, 10 years. But 10 years prior to that, it was my only deck. So it is really so special to me. It is so dirty. It is so grubby. It is so fabulous. Let me show you. You may recognize it already. For some of you, as I say, this box just fits it so perfectly. And this is where it lives on my shelf. So this is, I even keep a little piece of money in there for luck. So this is the original Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. Can you see how dirty? This is not colored. This is its natural look. It is so brown. It is so dirty. It is so disgusting. But this deck, it is in order, just because it's prosperity and the way I like to keep it. But it is just, I love the fact that the edges are chipped. This deck is just, I don't want to use the term my soul deck because I don't think it is my soul deck. This is my workhorse. Well, it was for all those years that I used it. The colors are so bright. I always thought that the imagery was quite modern and quite relevant. Now that I have a much bigger collection, I think differently, but I do just love Gilded Tarot. This is the original Gilded Tarot. This wasn't even the one that came in the orange box. This is the one that came in the black box. And honestly, this deck is just absolutely gorgeous. As I said to you, this deck is so used. It is so brown. It is so dirty. But when I slide it across the table, it fans so beautifully. It works so beautifully, and it is just absolutely fantastic. So I don't work with it anymore. I have to be honest and say that to you. I can't tell you when last I've actually read with this particular deck, but because it holds such an important part of my tarot history, my tarot legacy, for that reason, I absolutely would not want to go without it. So if I had to keep only 10 decks, this one's definitely coming with me. Right, and then the next one that I would absolutely keep with me has to be Lightseers Tarot. I know everybody has the Lightseers Tarot and everybody loves the Lightseers Tarot. I have 3 copies of the Lightseers Tarot, to be honest. I have got 2 of the mass market editions, one which has not been opened, the seal has not been broken, but this is one that I do work with all the time in client readings. My indie version or my indie copy doesn't get used. It stays in the box in its original form. This box is empty at the moment because I do keep it in a pouch. This is a homemade pouch, so let me actually just show you here. So this is the indie version, the one that came directly from Chris-Anne when she first released the Lightseers. I didn't get the first round of her decks. I did get the second round. Mine is numbered. It is number 612 out of 2,500, and it is just, oh, this deck is beautiful in every sense. I have added a ribbon just to make it easier to take the cards out, but they generally live in the box. They don't get taken out of the box. So this is a prized possession of mine, and for that reason I would absolutely keep it. But I do work very well, very regularly with my Lightseers Tarot. I'm going to show you here. So this is my my working deck. I have edged colored them in. This deck was one of the first release from Hay House. It was a damaged deck. The cards have got creases in them and they're not perfect. They're not cut straight. But you know what? That's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes this deck so special and what makes this deck just truly one that I have to have. And like I said to you, I do work with it. Isn't that card just gorgeous in so many ways? I love it, love it, love it. So everybody's very familiar with this deck. I love working with this deck. This deck, it speaks truth in such a gentle way, and it just gives you whatever you need at the time that you need it. So if I had to pick only 10 decks, Lightseers Tarot, absolutely both editions. And I am cheating here. I am cheating here and saying that I would take my indie and my mass market. They would come with me, and I consider them to be one. So that is a cheat, but I'm sticking with my cheat because I need them all. So that is Lightseers Tarot, which is another one that I would absolutely, see, I'm bumping the camera, sorry, that I would absolutely have to take with me. Right. The next one that I'm just looking at the desk to see which one I can show you next. The next one I'm going to show you is another indie. I've actually got quite a few indie decks, to be honest. And this is another one that I would absolutely, if I could only have 10, I would take my patch tarot. There is such a love that I have for this particular patch tarot. If you're familiar with it, comes from Spirit Science. It is their tarot deck, patch tarot. It says, what you hold in your hands can be seen as a collection of artwork, a blueprint of the universe, or a roadmap to your spiritual ascent. Whichever you decide, the choice is yours. We have the flower of life on the top, and it says as above. And then if I jump all the way to the bottom, or the deck is just opened up, and it says so below. So my box, I haven't got around to making this particular one its own little pouch. I do like all my decks to be in their own pouches, but patch tarot is just really something special to me. I haven't edged mine. Mine is still in its original form because I think it's just so perfect and just so beautiful in its original form. I love these backs. Aren't they just absolutely gorgeous? The colors, the vibrancy, everything about it. Patch tarot is beautiful. I love the size of this deck. I love the cardstock. It feels so good to hold. The artwork is bright, beautiful. It is Thoth based, so it would definitely be my Thoth to go kind of deck, but I just absolutely love this deck. I love working with it, and this is a deck I use mostly for myself, for my own personal readings. It speaks truth like nothing else can. Patch Tarot is just, I've been following Patch Tarot for long before they even made tarot. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that Hermit card. There's just so much personality, so much depth, so much meaning in the cards. And I just absolutely love my Patch Tarot. So if I had to choose only 10, Patch Tarot is right up there with the best of them. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, so that's Patch Tarot. Let's make some space for some more. I'm going to put it over there. I'm now going to go to another indie. Actually, I think most of my tarots, besides for the light seers, besides for my Gilded Tarot, there's only one other. The rest are all indie. So this one is one I'm truly, truly proud of. This is one that really speaks to my heart and soul. This next tarot deck was created by a local South African, and he's just such an awesome person. He really is. He's such an awesome person. He's such a good person. He's got such good integrity and all of those kind of things. And he made an absolutely phenomenal deck. So this is, oops, you can't see, the CS Tarot. CS Tarot created by Conrad Steyn. CS is not standing for his name. It's for Coleman Smith. The CS Tarot, it is the tarot deck for professional readers. I have got the ones that have got Pixie signature and the amber crackle-backs because I love it. And yeah, normally if you order CS Tarot from Make Playing Cards, you don't normally get this tuck box. I was lucky enough and privileged enough to get it straight from Conrad, and his little saying at the bottom, to all who seek the truth, may you learn, feel, grow, and discover. Isn't that just absolutely awesome? And mine is stamped and numbered by Conrad. So absolute prized possession. It lives in its own little pouch, which I have created as well to match the deck. So there's many things I love about this deck. I love the colors. I love the cardstock. The cardstock is just amazing. The size of the cards is just amazing. But it is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone or lookalike, but he has altered the artwork and he has just made it beautiful. This deck shuffles so well, it reads so well, and of course I just love the colors that he's put into it. So I must be honest and say that reading the standard Rider-Waite-Smith wasn't easy to start off with. But I came in, I'm going to call it through the back door, with the Gilded Tarot. And once I had mastered tarot, now suddenly I have such an appreciation, such a good connection to the Rider-Waite-Smith. And sometimes, especially when you're doing a heartfelt reading, especially when you're doing something that is really emotional, deep, and you want to get to the root of it, to me, working with a deck like this just really takes me there. So this deck, absolutely, I wouldn't be without it. This deck means the world to me and then some, because the creator is a local South African as I am, but because I just love what he's done with this deck. I love what he's done with the line work, with the colors, with absolutely everything. So CS Tarot, really high up on my list of decks that I absolutely would need to have, must have, and would never be without in my life. So thank you, Conrad, for that. Okay, let's put CS Tarot out of the way and let's get on to the next one. All right, so next one, I am going to go with another indie tarot. And as I said, this is in no particular order at all. I was so pleased to get this deck. This is the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Oak, Ash, and Thorn is just such a beautiful, beautiful deck. It means the world to me. Trying to get it to South Africa was a bit of a challenge. And I think that makes me just love it even more. The fact that it was lost and I had to have a second copy sent out, and postage into the country is not always the easiest. But Oak, Ash, and Thorn is definitely high up on my list. Also in a custom homemade pouch by me, because it's special and it needs that. Oak, Ash, and Thorn is just such a beautiful, beautiful deck. So these are the backs. It is a thick, chunky deck, so shuffling can be a bit of a challenge from time to time. But you know what? I love the deck so much, it's okay. We cope, we manage, we get through it. Oak, Ash, and Thorn, the artwork is just absolutely beautiful. And I use this deck when I'm feeling a little bit fragile, when I'm feeling like I need a comfort hug. I want the truth. I want understanding. I want all of those things, but I want a little bit of compassion. Then I turn to my Oak, Ash, and Thorn for those readings, and it's never let me down. It speaks truth, and the readings can sometimes be a little bit hard, but you know what? I love that. So this is one of the extra cards in the deck. It is called Possibilities, and you've got all the animals, and this was also a little preview of the deck that is being launched. It's open for early orders now, for pre-orders now, at the time of me recording this. Smoke, I forget now what it's called, Smoke Something and Embers. It's a dragon deck. So this one, absolutely, if I could only have 10, I would definitely have Oak, Ash and Thorn in my collection. It is really, really special to me and really, really amazing, as they all are. Hey, we love all our tarot, but yeah, choosing 10 wasn't easy. Okay, so Oak, Ash and Thorn done. I want to just make some space so that I don't bring out the same ones twice. Okay, I now am going to bring another deck that's also really, really special to me, one that means the world to me, and also one that has a South African connection. I don't know if everybody knows that about this particular deck, but the creator of this deck has got ties to South Africa as well. And this is the beautiful Shimmering Veil. Shimmering Veil by Cilla Conway. She is a beautiful soul inside and out. She carries just such an energy about her, which comes through in her deck. Mine did get a bit damaged in transit, but isn't it just gorgeous? I've got the book in there. I don't keep my cards in their original boxes because on my table just over here, where am I pointing, I do have a display stand with all of these decks, and I keep them all close to me so that I can grab them whenever I need them. So Shimmering Veil lives in this, again, homemade pouch. And Shimmering Veil is just beautiful. Let's have a look. These are the backs of the cards. Very subtle, very gentle, but the reason why it's called Shimmering Veil is you can see the beautiful shiny gilding on the sides, the shimmer that comes with it. Absolutely gorgeous. So Shimmering Veil Tarot. I'm running out of space on the table here. The artwork is not everybody's cup of tea. The artwork is detailed, simple, deep, provoking. I mean, just look at that. What I like is the fact that you don't have all these huge big keywords, on the cards. You just get a little symbol, and once you know your symbols, it's very easy to know what the card is that you're looking at. I love the play on colors. Look at the Hermit. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? And when you can either read with this card with your standard basic or understandings of the card meanings, or if you allow yourself, you can do some path working into the cards themselves and let it take you on a journey, take you on just to go somewhere. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. So I would not want to ever be without my Shimmering Veil Tarot. Shimmering Veil Tarot is a deck that, again, I use for myself. I don't do many client readings with it, and it's never let me down. It really is just absolutely beautiful. I have to say, though, that Shimmering Veil is not a kind of deck to get a quick reading out of. So, if I'm in a bit of a hurry and I just want a quick little reading, this is not a deck that I would reach for. Because when you do a reading with Shimmering Veil, you really get sucked into the artwork, you get sucked into the cards, and there's so much to explore, and there's so much to understand, and there's so much to perceive. I love that. I love that one. One of my favorite, I wouldn't mind actually putting that kind of art on my wall at home because it is just absolutely exquisite. So Shimmering Veil, definitely my hashtag only 10. It would definitely be up there with the best of them. Right. I'm going to go to, we're nearly done actually. I think I've only got 4 decks left. Right. So the next one is also in a little homemade pouch. I will show you. You can see by the size of my hand in comparison to the deck, it is quite a small one. And this is also one that I had seen so many people use it. And every time somebody used it, I just had this kind of this pull in my heart. And it was just like, I had to have it. I had to have it. I had to have it. And eventually when I reached out to the creator, because it's an indie deck, when I reached out to the creator and said, oh, could I order? They actually weren't selling anymore because they were doing an update to the deck and they had taken it off the store. But because I had asked and given my little story, they said, okay, they'll have another one printed for me and sent off to me. So it just makes it that much more special. So this little deck is something that is truly important to me. It is by Rial from Lucky Cards, and it is known as Pam's Vintage Tarot, and this is the bridge size. I do think this deck is absolutely exquisite, and I have made it a little pouch in the colors that I thought was appropriate for it. I haven't edged mine because I quite like how you get that effect. It's the same as with my patch tarot. I love that effect on the sides. So let's just get the bag out the way and all the ribbon. This is the back of the cards. Rial has made them look a little bit antique vintage. So you can see that it's got a bit of dirt around the edges or so, which is just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the size of these. I love the cardstock. Again, I love everything. If all tarot could be made in this size and this cardstock, I'd be a very happy girl. And of course, it is very much a traditional Rider-Waite Smith. We don't have borders, we don't have titles, but if you know your tarot, it's really so easy to read with. And again, I love this vintage feel for it. And it's actually surprising how often I find myself reaching for this particular deck. I reach for this deck a lot more than I realized, to be honest with you. And I think it's because of the size of the cards. My hands are not the strongest. My hands are not the healthiest. They're not the best. So, I need a deck that I can comfortably hold, comfortably shuffle. I do like to riffle shuffle, and this particular deck riffles really, really well. So, Rial has brought out her newest version of this particular deck, and you can get it in the bigger size, but I think the size for me is it's perfect. The artwork is beautiful, and as I said to you, when I first started my tarot journey, I wasn't big on the Rider-Waite Smith. It wasn't something that was like naturally easy for me to read, but since I've learned and since I've become besties with the tarot, I really do absolutely connect with every single one of these cards, and I just love it. So this one and the CS are my absolute go-tos, my favorites, and couldn't be without them. Under no circumstances could I be without either of those decks. And they do have very different purposes and very different functions within my collection. All right. I have got only one tarot left to show you. And out of all of these, I'm just looking, out of all of these, this next tarot is certainly my newest to my collection. And it is, just again, such an awesome deck, quite different from what I've already shown you. But this deck is just, it speaks to my heart and soul, and it is the beautiful, the amazing, the powerful, the wonderful Tarot of the Abyss by Anatolian. Just, I have no words for how amazing and how wonderful and fabulous and all of those things this particular deck is. It just is phenomenal. I am still busy making its deck, its bag. It's being crocheted. I don't know quite what the right word is there, but it is in progress. So I can't show you its bag, but I can show you the beautiful cards. So again, it's one of those where I love the effect off the sides, where you get to see a little bit of the artwork coming through, and it creates that kind of texture. This is the back of the cards. It is just absolutely gorgeous. So the Tarot of the Abyss is not a colored card or deck. It is, I want to say black and white, but it's more like a cream and black. It is line art, hand drawn by Anna herself. The power of this deck, let me just tell you, it is absolutely mind-blowing. I thought they were in order for a second, but no. This deck, it is just, the emotion in this deck is just, you can't look at these images and not have feelings that come up to the surface. This deck just speaks to my soul like I actually have no words to explain it. Let's just look at this king. Just look at that expression on his face. It's mind-blowing. And if you look at his hands, and if you look at like what he's doing, this fire that he's creating and that he's making, it's just, there's just so much happening there. Strength card, just look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So I love, the artwork, and again, it's a deck that sort of pulls you right into it and makes you think outside of the box, makes you think, look at life differently and just reimagine everything that it stands for. Look at this. Just look at that. I want to be part of that. I want to be gazing into their eyes with them. I want to get lost. I want to know, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? And this particular one, Ten of Swords, if you know your tarot, Ten of Swords is not normally a good card. You know, it's normally a heavy emotional card. But he's got a bit of a smile on his face. And sometimes I even think the owl is too. So it's almost like it's looking at it from the other perspective. And that just excites me. It just excites me. So when I saw this deck, it was like I could not push the buy button fast enough. I, truth be told, have 2 copies of it. And I ordered one off Amazon, and when I had pushed that buy button, I think Amazon's delivery date was going to be slow or something. I can't remember. So I actually bought a second copy from Anna herself. So I have 2, one mass market from Amazon. They're both mass market, but one I bought from the creator directly. And I mean, just look at that. Just look at that card. Isn't it just, oh man. So yes, this deck is really, really something. It is something completely magical about it. And I would not want to be without. I could not. I mean, look at that face. The detail, the emotion, the everything. It is just, it's mind-blowing. So Tarot of the Abyss, and I really do, again, this deck, I've used it for quite a few client readings, and every client that has had a reading with this particular deck really resonates. Again, it speaks a truth that words battle to put into play. It knows exactly what to say. It knows exactly what you need to hear. It knows exactly what kind of advice to give, and it has not let me down yet. So Tarot of the Abyss, really a truly special, amazing, wonderful deck, and absolutely one of my can only have 10. All right, I have 2 decks left to show you, and we are finished with tarot. So out of my only 10, I have got 8 tarot and I have got 2 oracle. The oracle decks I'm going to show you now, I do use oracles a lot, especially in client readings, because I just find oracles softer, gentler. But I read oracle decks without reading guidebooks. I don't like to read guidebooks on oracle. I like an oracle deck to have a pretty picture, a relevant pretty picture, and I like an oracle to have a keyword or a key phrase that will trigger the intuition and allow me to connect with the essence. So the 2 that I've chosen do that for me. And again, in my readings, in my client sessions, even for myself, they just really hit that mark. And this next one that I'm going to show you, if I had to, out of all of my oracle, if I had to pick my ultimate favorite, it has to be this one. This one I haven't trimmed yet, but I am going to do a deck mod to it. I'm going to modify it. But for now, you'll know me. If you've been watching my channel for a while, if you've been following my videos, you will know. Denise Lynn, she's my girl. Sacred Destiny Oracle is absolutely one of my favorites, because when I use it in client readings, when I use it in my videos, it just speaks to my soul. So let's have a look at the Sacred Destiny. So the book is in there. It's at the bottom. I never use it. I don't like to use guidebooks in oracles. The backs are beautiful. We've got the sun coming up. We've got beach scenes, so it reminds me of here at home where I am on the east coast of South Africa. You know, it is just absolutely exquisite. So I do find oracles are quite big, and I do battle with oracles. So like I said to you, I do have full intentions of trimming this particular deck. I want to remove the white borders around the edge, and I will keep this across the bottom. I love the artwork. The artwork really seems to speak to my soul. And just having a single word across the bottom, it works for me. I mean, just look at that. Isn't that just such an African picture? I love it. And truth, you know. So yeah, I absolutely love it. This deck really is my absolute favorite. I have bought most of Denise Lynn's decks, but this is this is by far the best. By far the best. And it reads so beautifully. Well, for me anyway. For me anyway. So the artwork is beautiful. It's simple, but it's powerful and it's strong. The messages that it gives with it, everything. I absolutely love everything about this particular deck. Transformation Butterfly, that's me. One of the cards, and I wonder if I'll find it. Healing Chaos is a card that comes up. There it is. it's almost, I don't want to say every single time, but so often this card comes up in my readings, client readings, in my video readings, and so on. And it makes sense, like it's always relevant, it's always appropriate. And as I said, just I love this deck. So I would not want to be without My Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. So thanks for that, Denise. Love, love, love your work. And I have one more oracle left. Okay, and we're really running out of space. This is a fairly new deck to my oracle collection, and I'm loving it for the same reasons that I love Sacred Destiny. I have actually read the guidebook on this one, and I love it. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And what I like about this particular one is that it's very gentle. It's very loving, it's very gentle, and it's very soul-soothing. And that is the Goddess Dream Oracle by Wendy Andrew. It is beautiful. So let's have a look at Goddess Dream. I love the feeling on the box. It's almost got a, like you're feeling fabric, like a linen feel to it. Even the guidebook has got that same kind of feel for it. It's in color, the guidebook, and we've got quite a bit of information for each of the cards. So I do really like the Goddess Dream. The backs are gorgeous. There's not many cards in the deck. I don't know how many there are. But I really do love, love, love this deck. Also quite large, but I seem to cope. I love the fact that it's borderless. I am such a borderless girl. So here we get a card name, a number, and a little key phrase. And they really are absolutely exquisite, absolutely gorgeous. So this is definitely one of my favorites, and one that I find I reach for quite a lot in my client sessions, in my videos, and in everything that I do. So I really do enjoy this one. So that's my, if I could only keep 10 decks, which 10 would I keep? And it's interesting how my choices were not only cards or decks that were good for me personally in my own private practice, but as always, I was thinking about clients. I was thinking about, the people that I read for, the people who watch my videos, the people on my YouTube channel members. I do live readings for them every Wednesday evening, and this is definitely one of the decks that comes up so often. So it was very interesting how my top 10 catered not only for myself, but catered for my clients and everybody else as well. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for sitting with me as I show you my only, if I could only keep 10 decks, which decks I would keep. As I said, this is the first time I have done a video response or shown a collection kind of video on my channel. So, and I know it's not usual for my channel, so I do hope that you enjoyed seeing a different side of me and a different side of my collection, and just a little bit more. If you enjoyed this, and if you've got anything you want to add or any comments, please do leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will have the link to the original video, to Katie Flower's original video, in the description box below. So if you want to go and check out other people's top 10, please do. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me. Wishing you all the best, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.